This is Olivia Osgood, and you are listening to the How to Quit Working Show. I'm glad that my mommy's an entrepreneur so that we get to spend lots of time together and she gets to homeschool me.
This is the How to Quit Working Show. Jeff Steinman believes entrepreneurship is the only true path to freedom. That's why he created the How to Quit Working Show, where you'll hear stories, insights, and inspiration from lifestyle fanatics who left their soul-sucking 9-to-5 job forever. Now, here's your host, author, entrepreneur, and ultimate lifestyle fanatic, Jeff Steinman.
Hello and welcome to the How to Quit Working Show. This is Heather Osgood, your host of the Friday episode of the How to Quit Working Show. I'm so glad that you're here with me today. And before we get started on the actual show today, I want to make sure that you've had a chance to join the How to Quit Working Circle. All you have to do is go to howtoquitworking.com/circle, enter your information, and you will be registered for our free video training series, as well as free workshops that we do from time to time. And you'll have access to our How to Quit Working Facebook group, which is really just a phenomenal group of people just like you who are thinking about quitting their jobs, who would like to start a business. And there you will be surrounded by supportive individuals who will help you reach your goals and your dreams. So if you haven't registered for the How to Quit Working Circle, I encourage you to do that. I also want to let you know that Jeff and I are working on some incredible new projects and just some information that is going to help accelerate you and get you to where you want to be. And so you have to be a member of the circle to get that information as it comes out. So please, if you're not already a member, go ahead and do that. Now, today, kind of jumping into the show, I'm going to be talking to you about working remotely. And it's something I hear about all the time through, the different outlets that I'm plugged into. And it's something that I'm sure you hear about and something that you desire to do. I would say the bulk of my clients have some desire or dream to be able to travel as well as make money while they're traveling, not having to, feel tied down to your office, to your desk, to this place that's really keeping you constrained, and having that flexibility to kind of move, travel, go where you want to go and do what you want to do. And today I'm actually not at my home office where I typically am. I am traveling with my family, as I have been for several days now. So I kind of wanted to take this opportunity to get really down to the nuts and bolts and get just really specific about what it means to work remotely and how it could be beneficial to you and how you might find some challenges with it. And the reason why it's so important for you to hear information like this is because as you're thinking about creating your business, as you're really, working on what it is specifically that you want in life, it's great for you to hear kind of the reality of the situation and, just really bring home what it means to actually have what you might want. And sometimes we find in life that we want something, and then once we get it, we realize maybe it's not as great as we think it is. So I just kind of want to go through the ins and outs of what it's like for me to travel as well as work on creating my business and keep things going for my family, and all the pros and cons and the things that you might consider as you're trying to create your own remote business or a location independent company that you're thinking about creating. So I want to start with the pros because let's be honest, it's pretty great. If you want to compare working in an office in an environment where you have to be there from 8 to 5 or maybe 7 to 7 depending on the job that you might have, obviously when you're traveling, you don't have that commute that you would have burdened by this job. You don't have all of the office politics that you might have in a job. You don't have the constraints of having to be somewhere at a certain time to do certain things. There is just a ton of flexibility and independence that comes with business ownership, depending on the type of business you design. And a lot of that flexibility does give you the opportunity to travel, which can be a lot of fun. Now, on my current travel, we're not, too far from home. We're only about 4 hours from, where we live, but hey, it's still a lot of fun. And it's really given us the opportunity to spend time with family and relatives that we might not otherwise get. We also have a chance to, just really take our kids out and kind of explore, take what we call adventures. And really it just gives you that opportunity to have some differences in your life and some variety. And for me, that is kind of the spice of life that makes things interesting when you are working from home, which is, got its ups and downs as well. You don't always have kind of that opportunity to have the same variety that you do have when you're working in an office environment. And the reason I say that is because there's not a lot of people that you're interacting with when you're working at home. You're, in your office by yourself, and it's great, but there isn't a lot of variety that happens for me. And I really enjoy the idea of just getting out of the routine, getting out of the same place, and just having the opportunity to travel, to see new things, to meet new people. We had an awesome experience while we were camping. We did some camping, and now we're at my in-laws' house in Southern California. And while we were camping, we were able to reach out to some campers who were next to us, and it was a couple of young gals that looked as though they were backpacking, and we knew they probably didn't have any hot food with them, so we offered they join us for dinner, and found out that it was a couple of girls who were traveling throughout the United States, and they were from Germany. And we just had a great conversation with them. We talked to them about kind of all the ins and outs of their travels, what they had enjoyed, what they had learned. We had an opportunity to give them their first ever s'more, which was really a fun thing to do. And it was just great to, really, we weren't too far from our home, but we had this great camping experience, and we were able to, reach out, and it felt like in some ways almost bring the world to us, just because we got out of our routine, we got out of our, our home structure. And to add to that, we also had some campers that pulls in right before we left, and they were a group from China, and they were very enthralled with my 3-year-old son, and just really thought he was great. And it was a really neat experience to be able to talk to them, to interact with them. And we would never have gotten that, obviously, if we hadn't taken the trip, if we had stayed at home. We just wouldn't have had that adventure. So it was really awesome, just to be able to have that flexibility, to have that opportunity to go out and really, kind of explore and do some neat things with our kids. So as you're thinking about working remotely or having an independent location, company, that certainly is a big plus, is just that ability to travel and all of the fun things that you get to learn while you're traveling. The other thing is that it is great to be able to make money and not have it tied to a specific location. It's nice that you can continue with your company, you can continue with your cash flow. My husband does have a product-based internet business that he runs, and he was able to take a selection of his top-selling items and sell those as we've been traveling, ship those out when the need arose, and just really having kind of that flexibility and knowing that you're still making money while you're traveling is really just a great thing, and certainly a big bonus. And obviously that's what, if you're thinking about starting a location independent business, that's something that's going to be at the top of your mind, is really just the ability to continue to make money and to prosper while you're traveling, which is terrific. And then as I was talking about earlier, flexibility is huge, and to me, when you're thinking about creating this location independent business, flexibility is at the top of the list. And I would say that with any company that you're creating, flexibility has to be one of the number one biggest reasons why you might want to, create a business for yourself, because there isn't somebody who's telling you that you have to get to work at a certain time, that you have to leave at a certain time, that you have to take your vacations at a certain time. And really there's just, there's a lot of opportunity in that ability to say, hey, you know what, I want to go to, a get together with friends and stay up late one night. That means that maybe I'm going to have a lazy day the next morning, and no one's going to care. Or Or perhaps you've decided that you want to, take 2 days where you do nothing but just intently work on your business. And, from dawn to dusk, you are really just at it. You have that opportunity. You also have the opportunity to intermingle different activities. And often I've found that those different activities will help you to really become creative and get you in a space where you have the ability to create more within your business because you're not so tied down. And I've just found that a lot of times, whether it's, working on a home improvement project or maybe exercising, going for long hikes for me is a big one. And even truthfully, laying on the beach while my kids are playing in the sand, those are really great opportunities for me to really be thinking about my business and what I'm doing and how I'm doing it and what I might like to be different and, just the different service and product offerings that I have and how I can serve a greater number of people. It just really, that time of kind of flexibility really gives you an opportunity to think more creatively and to think of bigger visions for your business and your organization. So the flexibility of being able to work remotely is really, it's just certainly at the very, very top of the list of what is incredible about having a location independent business. And as I said, I would encourage you, no matter what kind of business you're starting, even if it's a brick and mortar business, I would encourage you to think about making sure that as you're developing your business and getting started, that you really build in a level of flexibility. I read this great list that actually Cosmopolitan put out about kind of the top 10 employers throughout the nation and some of the benefits that they were providing. And it was amazing how many of them offered, endless time off. So basically, if you want to take time off, take time off. Now, obviously, you would need to get your job done, but they were saying, hey, if you want time off, take time off, or not requiring specific hours. And those are huge benefits. And the reason that they're big is because so many of you probably have children. Certainly, if you don't have children, you have family members or friends, and things in life arise, and you want to be able to say, I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to spend an extra day with my family on vacation or spend some extra time doing the things that I want to do. Those are important, and you have to have them. So really, think about that. And as you're creating your business, make sure that you have that flexibility built in. And that's something that from the get-go, you're really creating not a business where you're going to have those strict hours, but where you have some flexibility. It's really, really important. And then, for me, the other huge pro is just that ability to have time with my family and my friends. Obviously, I've talked a lot about my kids. I've got young children, and it is really, really nice just to be able to have time where I can spend with them, where I can stay focused on them, and I'm not having to worry about, being at a job, or even, from past companies that I've owned, I'm not having to worry about being at an office or, being accountable to my employees or any of that. I just have this flexibility where I can be present with my children, and that's great. It's really important for me to have time to spend with my family and with my friends. So those are important things to think about. So those are all the pros for me, and they're great. I find that I am blessed beyond measure that I have the capability to work remotely, and I absolutely love it. And I intend to, as many of you do, continue as I'm building my businesses to create this real flexibility and this independent location, into what I am doing, so that I have that ability to be flexible, to travel, see the world, and just spend time, doing different things in different environments, and it's a whole lot of fun. So next I want to kind of visit the list of the cons, because obviously with anything you've got your pros and you've got your cons, and you kind of have to decide what's best and what's going to work for you. So kind of on my cons list would be really that there's no routine. And I'm the type of person that I really thrive in a routine. I really like to know what I'm doing and when I'm doing it. And with everything in life, most people really love to have a certain amount of certainty. They know for sure what's going to happen. happen and when it's going to happen. And then people really like to have uncertainty, unpredictability, some spontaneity. And of course, I'm no different than any other human. I like to have a little of both. And as much as I love the uncertainty and the unpredictability of being on a trip and never knowing who you're going to meet, when you're going to meet them, what you're going to do, the fun times you're going to have, on the flip side, there's also just this kind of weight for me of not having that routine, not having that schedule where I wake up in the morning and work out and then, have my breakfast, have my kids off to school or a babysitter. And so I don't enjoy that piece of it. I don't enjoy too much flexibility. I guess I really do like to know that I have, some expectation. And I also really, really thrive on the idea of productivity. And for me, that's also a big con, that while you're out and about, your productivity level is certainly going to suffer. You're not going to be working
Thanks for joining us on the How to Quit Working show. Tune in next time when we'll talk to another amazing person just like you who is now living the ultimate life of freedom and doing it on their terms. If you want to learn how to quit working and get these episodes delivered directly to you, visit howtoquitworkingshow.com.